Your former employer, that being Facebook, you were a big proponent of that company for a obviously long period of time. It turned you into the financial success in many ways that you have become. Now you are a critic. Why? What do you see when you look at Facebook?
Well, look, I mean, the reality is that I got to a point in my life, largely when I became a parent, where I had to really start to think about what social media in general was doing to my children and what it was doing to the social norms that they were being raised in. And I didn't like them, to be very honest with you. And I don't think that they are completely to blame, but I also think that they have a responsibility in that debate and in that argument that is more meaningful and significant than any other company in the world. And so I made a decision personally for my family that it was time for me to put very strict guardrails around how I use social media in general. I limit it to Twitter. I don't let my children use any form of social media. I frankly don't let them use devices at all if I can at all avoid them. Simply because I think we're at a point in time in humanity and in society where the use of social media, whether we like it or not, is coupled to mental health. And the more one uses it, I think the more unhappy people generally are.
Yeah. You sold all your Facebook stock?
2013 or 14, I sold it all and I moved it to Amazon.
So you gave this, what is now widely talked about speech at Stanford, right? Where you said social media, I think the words were ripping apart the fabric of society, or I'm paraphrasing, but something along those lines. You don't believe that there are any companies out there that you can be a believer in. You just think social media as a thing, a being, is bad for society. Is that what you're saying?
It has a spectrum of uses. But with anything, if you were to, for example, eat only one thing, sugar. Sugar in and of itself in small quantities is not bad. Sugar every day for you is bad. Protein. Chicken breast is not that bad. If you eat it every day, I'm sure you'll suffer some consequences. Bacon, a few pieces, is not that bad. My point is that all things in small doses are very useful. And social media in and of itself is quite great because it empowers people. And it empowers democracy. And it empowers truth and information. What it also empowers, which we need to realize, is the narrative fallacy of how other people live their lives. And what we don't yet have is some warning or disclaimer that tells us most of these people are lying to us. Don't believe the hype. And so don't feel so bad about yourself. And I know that may sound quaint, but I think that roughly summarizes what hundreds of millions of people probably go through. Not in a meaningful way in one shot, but in small microdoses every time they use whatever form of social media that they adhere to. So my only point is, use it in small doses, use it in ways that allow you to be informed and be engaged in the world, use it to connect with the people you love and care about, but also understand that if you are not careful, you will misinterpret the fact that everybody has become their own little PR agency, telling a story to the rest of the world about their lives that it's fabulous and fantastic. And the reality is, we live complex, nuanced lives, and life is hard.
So what do you think of the job that Zuckerberg